The brick came through the living room window at exactly 9:47 p.m. Glass exploded everywhere. Maya screamed. Jordan jumped off the couch, his video game controller clattering to the floor. Linda grabbed both kids, pulling them close. Marcus ran to the window, his heart pounding like a drum. He looked outside but saw only darkness and empty streets. No car, no person, nothing. But wrapped around the brick was a note. His hand shook as he unfolded the wet paper. The words were simple but terrifying. Stop talking or your family pays. Marcus felt his blood turn to ice. This wasn't random. Someone was watching them. Someone wanted to scare them. Someone wanted them to disappear. But to understand why that brick came through their window, we need to go back 3 days earlier, to the Saturday afternoon when everything changed. 3 days earlier, Saturday afternoon, the Texas sun blazed down on Marcus Thompson's backyard like a giant yellow fireball. It was hot, the kind of hot that makes your shirt stick to your back and your lemonade disappear in 3 gulps. But Marcus didn't mind. He loved days like this. He stood at his grill, flipping burgers and hot dogs, humming along to the music playing from a small speaker. Smoke rose up in sweet-smelling clouds. His neighbors had gathered around picnic tables covered with food, potato salad, corn on the cob, watermelon slices, and Linda's famous chocolate cake. "Marcus, these burgers smell incredible," shouted Mr. Rodriguez from next door, giving him a thumbs up. Marcus grinned. His big frame shook with laughter. "Secret ingredient, my friend. Love and paprika." Everyone laughed. Kids ran around playing tag. Grown-ups talked and joked. Jordan was showing off basketball tricks to the younger kids. Maya sat making flower crowns with her friends, her small fingers working carefully. It was perfect, peaceful, everything Marcus had dreamed about when he left the Army 6 years ago. He looked at Linda arranging cups on the table. She caught his eye and smiled, that beautiful smile that made him feel like the luckiest man alive. They'd been married for 16 years, and she still made his heart skip. "Baby, you need help." Marcus called out. "I got it." "Honey," Linda called back, "you just don't burn my burgers." "I don't burn burgers." Marcus protested, even though he definitely burned some last month. That's when everything changed. A police car rolled up slowly to their fence. Then another one. 2 officers stepped out, one big and mean-looking, one younger and nervous. The music seemed to get quieter. People stopped talking. Kids stopped playing. Marcus's military training kicked in automatically. He noticed everything. The time, 2:37 p.m., the officer's badge numbers, the way the big one's hand rested on his belt near his gun. But Marcus pushed those thoughts away. This was a family day, probably just a routine check or wrong address. "Afternoon, officers," Marcus said calmly, setting down his grilling fork. "Something I can help you with." The big officer, his name tag said Kane, didn't smile. His cold blue eyes swept across the yard like searchlights looking for criminals. "We got calls about noise," Kane said sharply. "Multiple complaints about loud music and disturbances." Marcus glanced around, confused. The music was barely louder than talking volume, and most of their neighbors were right here at the party. Linda stepped forward, holding a plate of fresh burgers. Her smile was warm and welcoming. "Officers, we're just having a family cookout. Would you like to join us? We have plenty of food." Officer Kane looked at the plate like it was poisonous. Then, with one quick motion, he knocked it from Linda's hands. Burgers flew everywhere. The plate shattered on the concrete. "We're not here for your food," Kane sneered. Gasps rippled through the yard. Mr. Rodriguez's mouth fell open. The kids had moved to the back, clutching their parents' hands. Marcus felt something hot rise in his chest, anger, sharp and bright. But he kept his voice steady. "Officer, there's no need for that. Let me get my ID and we can—" "Your ID?" Kane interrupted, his voice dripping with meanness. "How'd a guy like you afford a house like this anyway? You dealing drugs? Stealing?" The yard went completely silent. Even the birds seemed to stop chirping. Marcus's jaw tightened. He'd heard these words before, the same ugly assumptions, the same nasty tone. But not here, not in front of his children, not at his home. "I own an auto repair shop on Riverside Drive," Marcus said quietly, each word careful and controlled. Been there 8 years. Here's my driver's license. Kane snatched the license, pretending to study it closely. Marcus Thompson. He read slowly, like Marcus couldn't spell his own name. And all these people are your guests. Family and neighbors, Marcus confirmed. We do this every summer. No laws broken. The younger officer, Jen, her tag read, was filming everything with her body camera, but she didn't look comfortable. Her eyes kept darting between Kane and the crowd. People in the yard had started pulling out their phones. Cameras pointed at the officers from every direction. Officer, Marcus tried again. I understand you're doing your job, but we haven't violated any ordinances. I'd appreciate if you'd leave so we can. The push came without warning. Kane's hand shot out and shoved Marcus hard in the chest. Marcus stumbled backward, his shoes scraping in the dirt. Dad! Jordan's voice rang out, full of fear and anger. Marcus's arm shot out toward his son, a clear signal to stay back. His military training screamed at him to react, to defend, to fight, but he kept control. Son, stay where you are, Marcus said firmly, his voice steady despite the rage burning inside him. Kane smiled, a mean, ugly smile. His hand moved to rest on his gun holster. That's when Linda stepped between them. This is completely out of line, she said, her voice shaking but strong. We know our rights. You can't just... The slap echoed across the yard like a gunshot. Kane's hand cracked across Linda's face so hard she spun sideways and fell to her knees. Maya screamed. Someone yelled for help. Phones clattered to the ground. But Marcus heard none of it. Time slowed down. The world became crystal clear. Years of training, thousands of hours learning how to protect, how to fight, how to survive, surged through his body like electricity. Before Chen could reach for her weapon, Marcus moved. His hand found the pressure point on her wrist with surgical precision. Her gun dropped into the grass. She fell to her knees, gasping in shock. Kane lunged forward, swinging his baton, but Marcus had already calculated the move. He shifted his weight, caught Kane's arm mid-swing, and twisted it into a joint lock that brought the bigger man to his toes. That's enough, Marcus said, his voice eerily calm. Don't make me break it. The yard erupted. People screamed. Some cheered. Cameras recorded everything, every angle, every moment, every second of the truth. Kane's face turned purple. He couldn't move. This soft man he'd thought would be easy to intimidate had just neutralized 2 police officers in seconds. Yo, under arrest, Kane gasped between clenched teeth. No, Marcus replied softly. I'm defending my family. Every bit of this is on camera. Jordan stared at his father with wide eyes, fear mixed with awe. His dad, who fixed cars and told corny jokes, had just moved like a superhero. In the distance, sirens began to wail. More police were coming. Lots of them. Marcus released Kane carefully and stepped back, raising his hands high above his head. His training told him exactly what came next. And he was right. Within minutes, 3 more police cars screeched to a stop. Officers poured out with guns drawn, screaming orders. On the ground. Now. Face down. Marcus lowered himself slowly to the earth. The grass felt cool against his cheek. Heavy boots thundered toward him. Hands grabbed his wrists. Handcuffs bit into his skin, tight enough to hurt. Don't hurt him. Linda's voice cut through the chaos, raw with emotion. He was defending me. They attacked us first. But they didn't listen. They dragged Marcus to his feet and shoved him toward a police car. As they pushed him inside, Marcus looked back at his family. Linda held both kids, tears streaming down all their faces. Their beautiful Saturday afternoon lay in ruins around them, broken plates, scattered food, trampled grass, and broken hearts. The peaceful life Marcus had built was shattering like that window would 3 days later. He didn't know it yet, but this was just the beginning. The real war was about to start. The jail cell was cold and gray. Marcus sat on the hard concrete bench, staring at the walls. He'd been here for 2 days. 2 long days without seeing his family. 2 days of being treated like a dangerous criminal. Every time he asked to call Linda, the guard said no. Every time he asked for water, they took forever to bring it. They wanted to break him. They wanted him scared. But Marcus Thompson had survived far worse than a jail cell. He'd been a soldier, an army ranger who completed some of the hardest missions imaginable. This cell couldn't break him. What hurt was thinking about his family. Were they okay? Was Linda's face still swollen from that slap? Were Jordan and Maya crying themselves to sleep? The cell door clanged open, making Marcus look up. A woman in a perfect police uniform walked in. Her name tag read, Captain Morrison. She smiled, but it wasn't a real smile. It was the kind of smile a shark gives before it bites. "Mr. Thompson," she said, sitting down on a folding chair. "I'm here to help you." Marcus said nothing. He just watched her with steady eyes. "You have an impressive military record," Morrison continued. 8 years as an Army Ranger. Honorable discharge. Community respect. It would be terrible to lose all that. She leaned forward, her voice turning sweet like poison honey. "Here's what I'm offering. Plead guilty to assaulting Officers Kane and Chen. We'll give you probation, some anger management classes. No prison time. You go home to your family." Marcus's jaw tightened. "You want me to lie?" "I want you to be smart," Morrison snapped, her fake sweetness vanishing. "Think about your wife, your kids. This could follow them for years. Linda could lose her teaching job. Your son could lose his college scholarships. All because you want to be stubborn." The threat hung in the air like smoke. Marcus looked her straight in the eye. "No deal." Morrison stood up, brushing invisible dust off a uniform. "Then we'll bury you. By the time we're done, nobody will believe a word you say. You will be just another violent man who couldn't control himself." She paused at the door. "Last chance, Mr. Thompson. Get out of my cell." That night, Marcus's face appeared on every news channel. But it wasn't the truth they were showing. The headline read, "Dangerous ex-soldier attacks police officers." A news anchor with perfect hair spoke in a serious voice. "Marcus Thompson, a former Army Ranger, violently assaulted 2 police officers during a routine noise complaint. Sources say his military training makes him extremely dangerous. The officers are recovering from their injuries." They showed his photo, chosen carefully to make him look angry and threatening. They showed clips of the fight, but only the part where Marcus had the officers down. Nothing about Kane pushing him first. Nothing about Linda getting slapped. The truth was being erased, painted over with lies. At home, Linda sat at the kitchen table, scrolling through her phone with shaking hands. Tears rolled down her cheeks. The video from a barbecue had gone viral, over 3 million views. People could see what really happened. But the police department was spreading their own story faster, louder, with official-looking statements and press conferences. Some people believed the truth, but others started doubting. Maybe there's more to the story. Why would officers just attack random people? He does look pretty aggressive. The lies were working. Slowly, like poison, they were infecting people's minds. "Mom." Maya's small voice came from the doorway. She stood in her pajamas, looking tiny and scared. "Why are they lying about Daddy?" Linda wiped her eyes quickly and pulled her daughter close. "Because sometimes, baby, people with power would rather lie than admit they did something wrong." "But we have videos," Jordan said, appearing behind his sister. "Everyone saw what really happened." "I know. Sweetheart," Linda whispered. "I know." A sharp knock made them all jump. Through the window, Linda saw camera lights and microphones. Reporters crowded their front lawn like hungry wolves. "Mrs. Thompson, is your husband mentally stable? How long has he been violent? What about the officers he injured?" Linda held her children close, her phone buzzing with notifications, watching her husband's name get destroyed online, one lie at a time. That's when the really scary stuff started. The next day, Linda noticed a dark car following her. Everywhere she went, to the grocery store, to pick up the kid from school, to visit their lawyer, the same black sedan with tinted windows stayed 3 cars behind. Not hiding, not secret. They wanted her to know they were watching. Her hands gripped the steering wheel so tight her knuckles turned white. Maya and Jordan sat in the back seat, quiet and nervous. "Mom, that car is following us again," Jordan whispered. "I see it. Baby, don't worry." But Linda was worried, very worried. The night of the fire. It happened at 11:34 p.m. on a Thursday night. Marcus had been released on bail that afternoon after their lawyer, David Chen, fought hard in court. The family was together again. Finally, they'd eaten a quiet dinner, barely tasting the food. Then everyone went to bed early, exhausted from stress and fear. Linda woke up first. Something smelled wrong. Her throat felt scratchy and hot. Then she saw the orange glow under their bedroom door. Marcus. Fire. Marcus's eyes snapped open. Years of military training made him alert instantly. Smoke was seeping into their room like ghostly fingers. "Get the kids," he commanded, already moving. Linda ran to Maya's room while Marcus grabbed Jordan. The smoke was getting thicker, making them cough and their eyes water. "Daddy, I'm scared." Maya cried as Linda scooped her up. "I've got you, baby girl," Linda said, wrapping a blanket around her. They met in the hallway. The stairs looked like they led down into hell itself, flames eating the walls, the furniture, everything they owned. "Kitchen, back door," Marcus shouted, leading the way. They stayed low, under the worst smoke. The heat was incredible, like being inside an oven. Marcus reached the back door, but the metal handle was burning hot. He grabbed a dish towel, wrapped it around his hand, and yanked the door open. "Run!" They burst out into the cool night air, gasping and coughing. But they weren't safe yet. Marcus's eyes went wide. The propane tank. The flames were spreading toward the grill's large propane tank. If it exploded, move! Marcus grabbed his family and ran. They'd barely made it to the neighbor's yard when the world exploded. Boom! The blast knocked them off their feet. A wave of heat washed over them. Burning pieces of their home flew into the sky like angry fireflies. Maya sobbed into Linda's chest. Jordan's fists were clenched so tight they shook. Marcus held them all, watching everything they owned burn to ashes. Neighbors rushed out in pajamas. Someone called 911. Mrs. Washington brought blankets. Mr. Rodriguez brought water. The fire trucks arrived, but it was too late. Their home was gone. As Marcus sat on the curb, covered in soot, Linda shaking beside him, he made a decision. He pulled out his phone and scrolled to a name he hadn't called in 6 years, Devon Masters. Devon had been his best friend in the Army Rangers. They'd saved each other's lives in Afghanistan. After leaving the military, Devon had become an expert in computer security and hacking. The phone rang twice. "Marcus? That really you? Brother?" Devon's voice was surprised but happy. "Devon, I need your help. They tried to kill my family." A pause. Then Devon's voice turned hard as steel. "I'm on the next flight. Hold tight, brother." 2 days later, Marcus and Devon sat in David Chen's basement office, surrounded by glowing computer screens. Devon's fingers flew across the keyboard like lightning. "These police servers are protected, but not well enough. I can get in." "We need everything," Marcus said quietly. "Every deleted file, every covered-up complaint, every dirty secret." "On it," Devon murmured, typing complex code. Hours passed. Coffee cups piled up. Then suddenly, Devon whistled low. "Marcus, you need to see this." The screen filled with files, hundreds of them, body camera videos that were deleted, audio recordings of Captain Morrison giving illegal orders, financial records showing bribes, complaint from dozens of families, all buried and ignored. "They've been doing this for years," Devon said, his face dark with anger, targeting families, hiding evidence, threatening anyone who speaks up. Marcus leaned closer, listening to one audio file. Morrison's voice was cold and clear. "Keep those neighborhoods quiet, Kane. I don't care how. These people need to learn their place." David Chen, watching over their shoulders, gasped. "This is huge. This could bring down the entire department leadership." Devon set up delayed releases. The evidence would go to every news outlet, every social media platform, and every government oversight agency all at once, in exactly 48 hours. "Once this drops," Devon said, "there's no stopping it. It'll be everywhere." Marcus stared at the countdown clock on the screen. 47 hours, 59 minutes, 58 seconds. Outside, thunder rumbled. A storm was coming. But the real storm was digital, invisible, and unstoppable. Before we continue, let me ask you something. Do you think Marcus will get justice? Will the truth finally come out? Drop a comment below and let me know. And hey, if you're enjoying this story, hit that subscribe button because tomorrow's story is even more incredible. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. The countdown hit 0 at exactly 3 a.m. Across the country, phones started buzzing. Computers pinged with notifications. News desks lit up with incoming files. The evidence bomb had exploded. Every major news outlet received the file simultaneously. CNN, Fox News, local stations, online platforms. The truth was everywhere. Impossible to stop, impossible to hide. By sunrise, the story had changed completely. New headlines screamed across screens. Massive police corruption exposed in Austin. Captain caught on tape ordering illegal harassment. Dozens of families targeted by rogue officers. The audio of Captain Morrison ordering attacks on families played on repeat. The deleted body camera footage showed Kane pushing Marcus first, showed him slapping Linda, showed everything the department tried to hide. Comments flooded in by the thousands. This is disgusting. These officers should be in prison. Marcus Thompson is a hero, not a criminal. How many other families have they destroyed? The truth was finally free. Marcus was sleeping in David Chen's guest room when his phone exploded with calls and messages. He grabbed it, squinting at the bright screen. The first text was from Devon. It's done. The whole world knows now. Marcus sat up, his heart pounding. He turned on the TV. There, on every channel, was his story. The real story. Linda, he called. Linda, come see this. His wife rushed in, followed by Jordan and Maya. They all crowded around the small TV, watching in amazement. A news anchor spoke seriously into the camera. The FBI has announced they are opening a full investigation into the Austin Police Department. This level of corruption is shocking and unacceptable. The evidence released overnight shows a pattern of abuse targeting minority families. We did it, Linda whispered, tears streaming down her face. We actually did it. Maya hugged her father tight. Does this mean you're not in trouble anymore? Daddy. Marcus kissed the top of her head. I think so, baby girl. I think so. 3 hours later, the morning was still dark when the FBI vehicles arrived. Not at David Chen's house, at the police station. Black SUVs with flashing lights surrounded the building. Agents and windbreakers marked FBI moved with quick precision. This wasn't a friendly visit. This was a raid. Captain Victoria Morrison was at her desk when they burst through her office door. Captain Morrison, a tall female agent, announced, "You're under arrest of conspiracy, evidence tampering, violation of civil rights, and obstruction of justice." Morrison's face went white. "This is ridiculous. You can't." "We have everything," the agent interrupted coldly. "Every audio file, every deleted video, every buried complaint. You're done." They handcuffed her right there in her own office. News helicopters captured it all from above, Morrison being let out in cuffs, her head down, her perfect uniform now looking like a costume on a criminal. Officer Derek Kane was arrested at his home, still in his pajamas. He tried to fight, tried to argue, but the evidence was overwhelming. Officer Amy Chen surrendered quietly at the station, crying, knowing her career was over. One by one, 12 officers involved in corruption were arrested. Some had been targeting families for years. Some had planted evidence. Some had taken bribes to look the other way. The entire department was in chaos. 6 months later, the courthouse. The marble steps of the Austin courthouse were packed with people. Hundreds had gathered. Families who'd been harassed, community members showing support, reporters with cameras, and citizens holding signs that read, "Justice for Marcus. Black Lives Matter. End police brutality." Marcus walked up those steps holding Linda's hand. He wore a sharp navy suit that fit him perfectly. Jordan and Maya walked beside them, dressed up and nervous. David Chen carried his briefcase, looking confident and ready. The trial had lasted 3 weeks. The evidence was so strong that the jury only needed 5 hours to decide. Now it was time to hear the verdicts. Inside the packed courtroom, you could hear a pin drop. The judge, an older black woman named Judge Patricia Holmes, looked stern and serious. She'd seen the videos. She'd heard the audio. She'd read every complaint. In the matter of Thompson versus Austin Police Department, the court clerk announced in a clear voice, "The jury finds in favor of the plaintiff. Damages awarded, $15 million. The courtroom erupted in cheers. Linda squeezed Marcus's hand so tight it hurt, but he didn't mind. Tears rolled down her cheeks. Jordan pumped his fist. Maya hugged her father's arm. But there was more. Judge Holmes banged her gavel. "Order. We also have the criminal verdicts." The room went silent again. Former Captain Victoria Morrison, guilty on all counts. Sentenced to 10 years in federal prison. Gasps and applause. Former Officer Derek Kane, guilty of assault, harassment, and civil rights violations. Sentenced to 8 years. More cheers. Former Officer Amy Chen, guilty of evidence tampering and conspiracy. Sentenced to 5 years. One by one, the corrupt officers were sentenced. Justice, real justice, was finally happening. Outside the courthouse afterward, reporters surrounded Marcus and his family. "Mr. Thompson, how do you feel? What's your message to other departments? Will you rebuild your home?" David Chen stepped forward first, raising his hands for quiet. "Today proves that truth and courage can defeat corruption. The Thompson family's bravery has exposed abuse that hurt dozens of families for years. This is everyone's victory." Then Marcus stepped up to the microphone forest. The crowd went completely quiet. Even the reporters stopped shouting. Marcus looked out at all the faces, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, all united by belief in justice. "For years after leaving the Army," Marcus began, his deep voice carrying clearly, "I chose to stay quiet. I wanted peace. I wanted to be just a regular dad, fixing cars and grilling burgers for my family." He paused, emotion thick in his throat. Some people saw that quietness as weakness. They thought I was an easy target. His voice grew stronger, but they didn't understand that silence doesn't mean weak. Sometimes the quietest people are the strongest because they are choosing peace, not because they can't fight back. The crowd murmured in agreement. When they came to my home, when they attacked my wife in front of my children, they didn't just attack me. They attacked my family. They attacked my community. They attacked everything I fought to protect in the Army. Marcus's eyes swept across the crowd. This isn't just my story. It's the story of every family who's been targeted and told to stay quiet. Every person who's been bullied by those who are supposed to protect them. Every community that's lived in fear. His voice rang out clear and strong. But today, we say no more. No badge puts you above the law. No uniform gives you the right to hurt innocent people. And no amount of power can bury the truth forever. The crowd erupted in cheers. Phones recorded his words, sharing them instantly across the internet. Marcus wasn't finished. To anyone watching who's facing injustice, document everything, stand together, and never stop fighting for what's right. The truth is powerful. Your voice matters. And you are never as alone as they want you to feel. Social media exploded. Within an hour, #MarcusThompsonStrong was trending worldwide. His words were being quoted, shared, turned into inspirational posts. People from other cities came forward with their own stories of police harassment, encouraged by Marcus's bravery. 3 police departments in other states announced immediate reforms. Change was rippling outward from one family's courage. 1 year later, the summer sun blazed down on Marcus Thompson's new backyard. The house was bigger than before, stronger, with reinforced walls and a security system. But it still felt like home. Smoke rose from the grill as Marcus flipped burgers, humming to himself. The yard was full again, neighbors, friends, and some new faces too. People who'd heard their story and wanted to meet the family who'd changed everything. Jordan was teaching basketball to younger kids, just like before. Maya ran around making flower crowns, laughing freely without fear. Linda brought out a fresh pitcher of lemonade, her smile bright and genuine. The mark on her face had long since healed, but the strength it had given her remained. Mrs. Washington raised her glass. "To the Thompson family. To courage." "To courage," everyone echoed. Devin flew in from California, grinning ear to ear. "Yo, Marcus, you burning those burgers again?" Not even once. Marcus protested, laughing. As the afternoon melted into evening, Marcus stood by the fire pit, watching his family and friends enjoy the peace they'd fought so hard to reclaim. Jordan walked over, standing beside his father. "Dad, kids at school keep asking about what happened. What should I tell them?" Marcus put his arm around his son's shoulders, thinking carefully. "Tell them that being strong doesn't always mean fighting. Sometimes it means staying calm when others are angry. Sometimes it means standing up even when you're scared. And sometimes it means asking for help when you need it." He looked at Jordan seriously. "But most importantly, tell them that the truth always matters. Even when people try to hide it, even when they try to scare you into silence, the truth is worth fighting for." Jordan nodded slowly, understanding. "And son," Marcus added with a small smile, "tell them that you should never judge people by how they look. A dad who grills burgers and tells bad jokes might also be someone who can protect his family when it matters most." Jordan grinned. "Your jokes really are terrible, Dad." "Hey!" Marcus laughed, pulling his son into a headlock. As the sun set over Austin, Texas, painting the sky in brilliant oranges and purples, the Thompson family stood together, stronger, wiser, and unbreakable. They'd faced the worst and survived. They'd been targeted and fought back. They'd been lied about and revealed the truth. And now, finally, they had their peace. Real peace. The kind that comes from knowing you stood up for what was right, no matter the cost. Marcus looked around at the smiling faces in his yard, at his wife's hand in his, at his children's laughter ringing through the air. They'd tried to break a family. Instead, they'd awakened a hero. And that hero had reminded the world that justice, real justice, is worth fighting for. The end. What did you think of Marcus's story? Drop a comment and let me know. And if this story moved you, hit that subscribe button, because we share powerful true stories like this every single day. Don't miss tomorrow's incredible story of courage and justice. #Justice Matters, #stand up, #never give up.